to Linda's Pantry, and today I'm doing this kind of out of sync. I had some issues with my SD card and my computer, and I canned and videotaped a whole canning session with you. 75-minute canning session, roasting the pork, all that stuff. And this was a recipe for the roasted pork in spicy broth. Out of the ball canning book, I followed the directions to the letter, except for the fact that I added, I don't know if you can see it, I added a whole cayenne pepper out of my garden to each jar. Cut off the stem and in it went. The broth itself was so delicious. So it's spicy, but it's not too spicy. So don't be scared. And you can cut back on the red pepper flakes if you want. But I assure you, it's not too spicy. Anyway, I'm not sure now because I haven't tried it yet, and I've never tried this recipe. So that's what I'm doing. I'm giving you kind of a rundown of how the canning session went, and I'll be trying the recipe for you because I'm making it for dinner, and I'm going to do it really plain and simple, just over jasmine rice, and I'm not going to try to add any other flavors per se to change what's in that jar, so I can let you know whether I will or won't can it again. And going forward in my canning for you guys, I definitely want to do that. So you're seeing this at the end of the day. I've already filmed how it went. The canning session was 7 jars. The other jar is in here in the dishwasher already, and my leftovers are in the fridge. There's enough for 3 meals with this jar, but nonetheless, all of them were done with Tattler Lids. They've been sitting out here on the counter for a while. I actually need to label all these jars. I've got chicken out here and salsa, and then the pork, and I do need to get them labeled. They've all been washed, and I like to leave, it doesn't matter if it's a button top lid or a Tattler lid, I like to leave them on the counter for a few days. Make sure that they're not going to lose their seal for some odd reason, but all those Tattlers, all 7 of them, sealed perfectly, and they'll be sealed for as long as I need them to be sealed on the shelf. So, headspace stayed really beautiful. I mean, look at that. You can't ask for a prettier headspace. And I like to show you after the fact too, because, you know, when we take them out of the canner, everything's expanded. So, of course, your headspace is going to look great. But, you know, as it sits here, and things settle down, and some of the evacuation out of the jar is not just in your canner, but it could be liquid that evaporates as it kind of comes out from underneath the lid. Now, I'm going to tell you that the canner and these jars were covered in fat from the pork. I mean, it's a pork butt, so it's going to have fat in it. And anytime you can fatty meats, generally you're going to get some fat on the outside of that jar. It doesn't mean the seal isn't going to happen. So when everybody's so worried about getting those lids wiped off, yes, wipe them off, because a grain of salt could stop a seal from happening. But honestly, fat, I've never had that be an issue. In fact, I've canned schmaltz before, chicken fat, straight up chicken fat. I've canned bacon, I've canned a lot of things with fat in them, and I've never had an issue, and I've never had a jar go rancid. So that has always been a question that comes in. So should you be using your Tattler lids, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, you should. Use them and enjoy them. And I do mark each Tattler ring, the gasket, with a Sharpie marker, just a little mark every time I can with it. So before the canning session starts, I mark all those rings, and then that way I know how many times that gasket has been used, because typically they say 10 uses. If I ever have a fail and I know it wasn't my fault, I will toss that gasket because it might have been compromised. I try not to run mine through the dishwasher. I try, because you're using bleach and that kind of thing, that can kind of degrade them. So I just hand scrub them really well with Dawn dish soap and vinegar, and my rings, my gaskets are ready to go for the next canning session. All of these have been used multiple times. So guys, So stay tuned. I'll give you a taste test and you can see how yummy it comes out. Well, I shouldn't be dropping the hints, but let's see if I'll ever can it again or not. All right. Okay, guys, so I have got my my jar, and I picked out of the 7 jars, I picked the one with the least amount of headspace. I always will do that. So there was like 1 or 2 pieces, maybe 1 piece of meat and some onions sticking out of the broth. Can you see that? Is that clear? Focus. So I'm gonna go ahead and open that. This is a Tattler lid opener. I think you can get these bottle cap openers anywhere, but this is from Tattler. I ordered it on the website years ago. Okay. Ooh, nice seal. And once they're on, like I said, they're hard to get off. So, oops, and I just dropped it. Okay, we'll get that in just a second. So I'm gonna go ahead, broth, pork, and everything. And I've got some jasmine rice that I actually cooked up earlier. And so here's my pepper that's in there. I probably don't need that, but I will save it for garnish. How's that? And this is gonna be enough for me for today and tomorrow for lunch or dinner. I'm gonna go ahead and get this heated through, and I'm gonna thicken it with a little bit of a cornstarch slurry. So super excited. Okay, literally this has been on, I brought it up to a boil on a medium low. I made my little cornstarch slurry in here, and we're gonna pour that in. And I don't want too much because I don't want to dilute the flavor. So we'll bring that back up to temp. And if you don't want your meat broke up too much, just let it simmer and boil on its own. Oh yeah, it's gonna thicken up nice. So that's plenty. I don't need it thick like thick gravy, but see, you're getting a little bit thicker sauce. Perfect. Okay, let's I've got my rice. I'll dish this up. I'll bring you over and take a picture and show you all dished up. I'll actually show you dishing it up, and then we'll take a picture. Oh, I'm excited. Okay, guys, so I've got my garnish, with just a little bit of chopped cilantro, that pepper, so that's for photo purposes, and I'll choose whether I eat it. I've got about maybe a little less than a cup of jasmine rice. And I'm just gonna put this beautiful pork right down over with the sauce. And I'm super excited. This might be enough for 3 meals, actually. I don't need that much meat, but put it just like that. Yeah, there's plenty in here for 2 more servings, so for me. So that's, I'll put a little bit of cilantro, chopped fresh cilantro. See, so when you do that, nobody ever knows that it's, there we go. I'll clean that edge up a little bit and get a picture, and by then it should have cooled enough that I can taste it, because right now it's screaming hot. I tried to give it a little bit of a taste. And remember, I haven't tasted this. I haven't ever had this, so this is gonna be brand new on my palate. I'll be right back. Okay, guys. Ooh, I'm super excited. So we're gonna get some pork, some rice, and that broth is turned into a beautiful sauce. So yeah, let's give you, look at that. Who doesn't want a bite of that? It smells amazing. Okay, first bite. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, this is delicious. I'm having this with a side salad. Absolutely. Okay. Spicy, but not over the top. I wish you could have watched the video. I followed the Ball Canning Book recipe for the spicy broth and everything. It's absolutely perfect. So let me pull the camera up and I'll talk to you a sec. So guys, I hope it inspires you, because this is delicious. Will I can it again? Absolutely. In fact, the pork is fall apart tender. You cannot You cannot tell. There is no taste difference or texture if I hadn't, let's say I roasted it in the oven and then made a sauce with it out of the broth. You know, maybe I braised it in the oven. You would not be able to tell this came out of a jar. Absolutely delicious. I'm so excited that I did this, and I'm gonna be doing another one here really soon because guess what? I lost all that footage. Wow. It's the perfect amount of heat in my opinion, but you guys know I like it spicy. Now you could add some fresh items in here. If you wanted to add some fresh green onion, that would be delicious too. I just now thought about it. I'll probably do that for my lunch tomorrow. You could add, maybe for some crunch, you could add some water chestnuts or a fresh pepper, all those things. There's tons of things you can do this with, or do with this. So guys, if you haven't done the roasted pork in spicy broth, you need to. It's a keeper for sure. And like I said before, from now on, anything that I can, I'm going to try to do a taste test for you and tell you whether or not I would can it again. So good, so good. So I hope it inspires you. I hope it inspires you to come back, hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and tell us what you would do with this pork. And if you've canned it before, share what your thoughts are in the description comment section below. All right, guys, we'll see ya. Bye.